We have a verdict. We have a verdict. If I am seeing this right, we have a verdict. Hold on. Let me make sure I got this set up right. Is there sound? Please tell me there's not sound. If you guys could tweet this out, I am... Oh, Donna doesn't look so good. We have a verdict. Holy shit, we have a verdict. Holy shit, holy shit, holy shit. Sorry, guys, I'm just setting this up here. Tweet this out. Copy. You're done. You're done, dummy. You dumb asshole. You're so done. Guys, can you... Wait, let me pull up the chat here. Hey, everyone. Thanks for being here. Can someone confirm we don't have audio in the courtroom? Is that me? Yeah, you stupid asshole. What's up, everyone? All right, no audio. Good. Oh, you're so done. You thought you could have a man murdered, you stupid piece of shit. You stupid asshole. And now you're going to prison, you fuck. Hey, everyone. Thanks for being here. You piece of shit. You thought you got away with it. You thought you got away with it. Thank you, everyone, for confirming no audio.
Published, I want to make sure everyone understands whatever the verdict will be in the case. I do not want there to be we are not going to subject them to any displays of emotion, whether it be from the gallery or the parties. If anyone believes they are not capable of following this instruction, I'd ask you to step outside at this time. Mrs. Adelson also as well, once the verdict is read, again, I'm going to advise you, do not have any displays of emotion as best you can. You are to control yourself. Do you understand?
Everyone can hear it all right? What the fuck? Will she faint? That's the question. Here we go.
Please remain seated when the jurors come in this particular time.
Does anyone know how long it was? Oh, you piece of shit. You stupid asshole. You're next, and so is your daughter. Fuck you. You piece of shit. $3.
If the jury foreperson could please rise. Has the jury reached a unanimous verdict?
We have.
If you please can hand the verdict form to the bailiff.
Stand up. Stand up, bitch. Stand up.
Having reviewed the verdict form, it is in its proper order. At this time, I will publish the verdict. We, the jury, find as follows as to count 1 of the indictment, first-degree murder. The defendant is guilty of first-degree murder.
Ah, you stupid bitch!
Mrs. Adelson, control yourself. Count 2. We, the jury, find as follows as to count 2 of the indictment. Conspiracy to commit first-degree murder. The defendant is guilty of conspiracy to commit first-degree murder. Count 3. We, the jury, find as follows as to count 3 of the indictment. Solicitation to commit first-degree murder. The defendant is guilty of solicitation to commit first-degree murder. And it is signed and dated by the foreperson. One moment. Members of the jury, the bailiff will escort you to the jury room.
You shouldn't have murdered a man, you piece of shit. You entitled piece of shit. Fuck you. You're done. You're gonna be in a box for the rest of your life, you piece of shit. You thought you were getting away with this?
Mrs. Adelson, while this was not the outcome I'm sure that you desired, there will not be any further outbursts in front of the jury. If you cannot control yourself, I am going to have to determine if you will be removed from the remainder of this process.
She can't control herself. You're gonna have to let her out. Put a mask on her!
Do you understand what I'm saying to you? Do you need a moment to collect yourself? Before the jurors are brought back in, we will take a brief 2-minute break. Please give her tissues if she needs them.
Give her tissues and 10 Xanax.
Judge, I'm forwarding secret and intact to the defense and to your honor.
When the jurors are brought back into the room, does the defense wish to have the jurors polled before they are discharged?
Yes, Your Honor.
Very well.
Well, surprising she didn't faint, but you knew she was gonna make a scene. You knew it. Wendy, you're next. Wendy, I know you're watching. You're next, girl. This has been 11 years coming for the Markels. 11 years. Because this piece of shit couldn't move on with the divorce. This piece of shit couldn't have waited, what, 15?
Please bring back in the jurors so we can conclude with their portion of the trial.
They're gonna have to wheel her ass out of there. Throw her in the garbage can, throw her in the blue garbage can, and get her ass out of there. Because she can't contain herself. Because she thinks that to the end of time that she is better than everything. She can't believe this happened. Because she thinks she's above everything. Peace out, Donna. Peace out, you piece of trash. Thought you could extinguish a human life. The father of your grandchildren. Thought you could do that with no consequences. And you got away with it for 11 years. Now your day has come. Your day has come.
Members of the jury, before I discharge you for this evening, I am briefly going to poll you concerning whether your verdict is unanimous at the request of one of the parties. When you hear your last name, please appropriately respond.
Oh, yeah, they're going to mute this. No names. She can't believe it. She can't believe it. Turns out doing this in a closing, when all the evidence is against you, doesn't work. Turns out these jurors were smarter than that. Oh, she's going to be crying all night. Good. Good. You didn't think twice. You sent hitmen twice to kill Dan. You could have canceled this shit. You didn't have to do this shit. You didn't think twice about it. Don't give a shit about this bitch crying. You're going to jail for the rest of your dumb life. Oh, I was bullied in jail. Guess what? You're going to prison now, bitch. It's a whole other story. Wendy, you're next. Wendy's next. What do you think Wendy's doing right now? Thank you so much, Jennifer.
Before you are discharged, please listen carefully. Ladies and gentlemen, I wish to thank you for your time and consideration of this case. I also wish to advise you of some very special privileges that are enjoyed by jurors. No juror can ever be required to talk about the discussions that occurred in the jury room except by court order. For many centuries, our society has relied upon juries for consideration of difficult cases. We have recognized for hundreds of years that a jury's deliberations, discussions, and votes should remain their private affair as long as they wish it. Therefore, the law gives you a unique privilege not to speak about the jury's work. Although you are at liberty to speak with anyone about your deliberations, you are also at liberty to refuse to speak to anyone. A request to discuss either your verdict or your deliberations may come from those who are simply curious, from those who might seek to find fault with you, from the media, from attorneys, or elsewhere. It will be up to you to decide whether to preserve your privacy as a juror. With that being said, I want to extend my thanks on behalf of the entire Second Circuit for your service in this matter. You are discharged. Have a good evening. As to the jury's verdict, with the jury having found the defendant guilty of the 3 charges of the indictment, is the defense asking for a pre-sentence report on counts 2 and 3. As to count 1, the penalty is statutory, and essentially there is no modification for it.
Yes, Your Honor.
Well, pre-sentence investigation report is ordered by the court as to counts 2 and 3. As to count 1, is there any reason why we cannot proceed to sentencing on this matter?
Your Honor, we would request an opportunity to ensure that our client is okay before we proceed to sentencing. It's my understanding that Charlie Adelson wasn't sentenced right away. We're asking for the same courtesy.
Very well. The court then will set a separate sentencing date.
May I inquire whether the family members that are present would like to give victim impact now or at the future date?
Go ahead.
Turn around. Don't even look at them. Don't look at Harv. Oh on, man. We're just gonna do it now. I don't even have gum. She's been waiting for this.
It's fine.
She's been waiting for this
Right
day.
there in front of the lectern.
For 11 years, she's been waiting for this day. 11 years.
If you please can identify yourself for the record.
Yes, my name is Ruth Mark. Sorry?
I'm worried you're gonna trip. Just,
Okay,
that's fine.
I already did fall. My name is Ruth Markel.
You may give your impact statement, ma'am.
Thank you, Judge Everett. To the Honorable Judge Everett, my name is Ruth Markel. I am the mother of the late Dan Markel. I stand before you today to express the profound sadness and grief that Dan's family and I have endured since his tragic murder. We have lost a treasure. My son Dan's life was cut tragically short at 41 years old. For 11 years, we have been forced to a life filled with unimaginable pain and heartbreak. Dan's father Phil and his sister Shelley share in this unending sorrow. Dan was a devoted father, brother, and son. Dan's life was marked by his devotion to family, education, and community. He was a loving, caring, and inspiring person. His academic journey included studying politics and philosophy at Harvard University, earning a master's degree later in political theory from the Hebrew University of Jerusalem and the Emmanuel College in Cambridge, and later going back to Harvard to get a law degree. Dan was a prolific scholar and did start, co-founded the influential Prof's blog. His energy, drive, and sociability greatly enriched the FSU College of Law. Dan's life was filled with passion, music, dance, sports, travel, and people. But of all my son's accomplishments, however, I am most proud of the devoted father Danny was to his two sons, Benjamin and Lincoln. Dan was present, loving, and supportive, always putting his children's well-being first. He regularly attended the boys' daycares, reading with them. His office was filled with their drawings, and his home, his living room, filled with their toys. Dan was the boys' hero, and they have been forced to grow up without a father. Dan's murder has shattered our family and caused deep, permanent pain. This was a particularly senseless crime, and the murder was particularly insensible. It was not revenge. Dan was a law-abiding and respectful citizen, an active father, and a living son. His life was devoted to teaching and helping others. The pain and suffering of Dan's murder goes well beyond other families too. That is why I wrote the book, The Unveiling, a mother's reflection on murder, grief, and trial life. In my unrelenting grief, I turned to advocacy, to feel purpose, and to help others with these tragic losses. I have found meaning and comfort to connect with others who want to serve justice. To all the community of journalists, TV programs, podcasters, Tallahassee communities, and the allies who have put their hearts in keeping Danny's story alive, we are full of thanks. To law enforcement and prosecutors, our gratitude is beyond for their dedicated, careful perseverance in seeking justice for Danny and our family. If Tallahassee is known for football, Tallahassee should be known for the prosecution and for law enforcement. They have done an outstanding job. These extraordinary efforts underscore the brutal truth of our family story. Danny's murder was orchestrated by his former mother-in-law, Donna Adelson, and other co-conspirators, and is a crime of cruelty. It is a murder of grief, a murder of selfishly prioritizing one's own desires over what is just or right. And at its core, this was a murder of convenience, so that one grandmother could live closer to her grandchildren. She killed their father and ripped the children from the other grandparents' lives. Donna Adelson's crimes against Dan began long before his murder. She belittled Dan in front of his children. She spread lies about him and contributed to a brutal separation between Dan and Wendy. She rented the house, and Dan came home and he found that Wendy and the boys were gone with most of their belongings. He called this devastation Pearl Harbor. Donna's eagerness for Wendy to divorce Dan and to relocate to South Florida led her to increasingly devise desperate schemes. Despite these efforts, the court ruled that Wendy could not move the boys away from their loving father. Failing to achieve her goal through legal means, Donna finally resorted to orchestrating Dan's murder. She plotted, planned, and paid for his murder. Donna's crimes led to further devastation. Her middle son, Charlie, was convicted and sentenced to a life in prison for his role in facilitating Danny's murder for hire. Can you imagine a mother involving a son to complete a murder? Donna's eldest son, Rob, an honest and decent man, is estranged from the family, and her younger child, Wendy, has decided once again to relocate to another state. Her actions and those of her co-conspirators have caused children to lose their parents. Catherine McManus, Sigfreda Garcia, and Charlie Adelson, also convicted, are all convicted for life and have lost access to their children. Prior to her arrest, Donna's recorded phone calls with Charlie reveal their lack of a moral compass or capacity for self-reflection. She blames external forces for her family's curse. They're outside of her, but she is the curse, and lashes out angrily at witnesses who took the brave step to testify. Her modus operandi has always been to run from Tallahassee and then to try to flee to Vietnam. For our family, there is no such prospect for escape. Danny's absence, and that leaves a hole at the center of our lives, no matter where we go. Yet Dan's murder was not enough for Donna. His death was not enough. Danny had to be fully erased from his beloved sons. The boy's last name was ever changed, an extraordinary decision to excise the Markel name from Phil's only grandsons who shared his last name. And after the first arrests were made, Donna didn't allow the Markel family to have access for over 6 years. It was only when there was a phenomenal Tallahassee advocacy group that passed the Markel Act. The passage of this bill was immediately followed by our first invitation to see the boys after the arrest. The door only cracked open. Despite these efforts, we remain excluded from the boys' lives. We were not at their bar mitzvahs or graduations. We have extremely highly choreographed visits and communications. We only wait for the day that Benjamin and Lincoln will visit their father and his grave in his father's history and his grave in Toronto. We want nothing more. The facts of Danny's murder, are difficult to swallow. The experiences Phil, Shelley, and I have been forced to suffer are profound as homicide survivors and victims of the criminal system. The lives of Danny's 2 sons, our grandchildren, were forever turned upside down by this crime. Benjamin and Lincoln were only preschoolers when their father was murdered, and now they are forced to confront and try to understand the unthinkable crimes of murder and the Adelson's involvement. Our lives will never return to normal. For those who loved Danny and for those who Danny loved, there is no escape from the wicked effects of what Donna Adelson set in motion, carried out, and paid for, and for many years enjoyed the aftermath of. Donna Adelson has caused immense devastation and an untimely, undeserved murder through her actions. While no trial or verdict can ever heal the profound wounds caused by Dan's murder, justice must be served. I respectfully ask the court to impose the maximum sentence on Donna Adelson. Her lack of cooperation and remorse throughout the case demands justice, the justice that Dan's life and memory fully deserve. We are immensely grateful to the court for its careful and compassionate deliberation. Respectively, Ruth Markel.
Thank you, Ms. Markel. Are there any other victim impact statements this evening?
One more, Judge.
If you please could tell us your name for the record.
Good evening. My name is Phil Markel. I'm Danny's father. Judge Everett, I appreciate the opportunity to speak about the impact of Donna Adelson's actions on my families and the families of so many others. While this victim impact statement is addressed to you, Your Honor, it is also intended for the Adelson family, Harvey, Charlie, Wendy, and particularly Donna. I would like them to understand and reflect on the deep and irreparable damage they have caused. The pain that they have caused my family is obvious and permanent, but they have also caused lifelong harm to their own immediate family and so many other families and children around. Donna's selfishness, cruelty, and complete disrespect for human life, along with that of her co-conspirators, have left families forever broken. Louis Rivera, his children have no father. Catherine Magbanawa and Sigfredo Garcia, their children have no parents. Charlie Adelson, his son, Roman, has no father. Rob Adelson and his wife and their 2 children have lost their uncle and grandparents. Shelley and Ian, my daughter, their 3 children, my grandchildren, are left without an uncle and are separated from their cousins. Of course, their heinous and callous actions have left me, Ruth, and Shelley without our Danny, and Ben and Lincoln without their father. For anyone to commit such a cold-blooded, unprovoked act of murder is horrific. For Donna, someone who claims to care so much about Ben and Lincoln, her sun shines. Her actions are beyond comprehension. She has harmed forever the people she claims to have loved. In the Jewish custom, we have an expression to always wish others to live to 120 years of age. For Donna, I wish her to live to 120, alone in her jail cell. I wish that every day of her remaining days she thinks about the harm she has caused to so many, especially those 2 boys she claims to have loved so much. For these reasons, Your Honor, I ask the court sentence Donna Adelson to the maximum possible sentence. And my only short question to Donna, was it worth it? Respectfully, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Markel. Are there any other matters that the court needs to address this evening, Ms. Koppelman?
No, Your Honor.
With the PSI being ordered, the court will pronounce the sentence as to counts 2 and 3 after it's been completed. The parties have had an opportunity to review the pre-sentence investigation report and make any objections if they believe they need to. As to the 3 counts that the jury has found the defendant guilty of, I will adjudicate her guilty at this time, but sentence will be pronounced as to the 3 counts at a later date. She is remanded for sentencing at this time. Lieutenant Henry, please notify the commander at the jail that the appropriate screening needs to take place to ensure that the defendant is in an area where she is not subject to any self-harm. For a case management date coming up, what would the parties request?
Ms. Dugan's October court date, Your Honor.
Shut your face. Shut the fuck up. Shut your fucking face.
Leave that is 10/14. Is that correct, Ms. Dugan?
Yes, sir.
October 14th for case management at 2:30 p.m. That will be in the normal courtroom, 3B. Patricia, if you can make sure that the notice goes to DOC so they are aware that the PSI needs to be completed as soon as possible.
I've already sent it, Judge.
Thank you. We are in recess at this time. We will
Get her in cuffs.
reconvene on October 14th.
Get her in cuffs
Have a good
right
evening,
now.
everyone.
Don't talk to them. Lift her up and put her in cuffs. Push her against the wall. Kick her on the one ankle so it goes into the other. Yeah, she's already in cuffs. Good. Get her out of there. Get her out of there. Don't let her talk to anyone. That's right. Get her out of there. Rough her up. Get out of there. Don't look at anyone. You're done. Surprised she hasn't fallen down. You piece of shit.
Yes.
Georgia, you did it.
For a trial call or
Case management.
There's no order for 200. In the morning or all day? Oh, well, have some time tomorrow.
That's Georgia's. All right, I'm keeping this on. If there's a press conference, I assume there's going to be. And there better be a question. Oh, there's Fancy. There better be a question. Are there any more indictments coming? Any more?
I was going to say, I think it might be closer to 300.
Some people doubted Georgia. Not this guy. Not this guy. 11 years. And she was an advocate in this case. The way she went at that attorney yesterday, the way she finished. Oh, to Isom. Oh, there's Detective Isom. The way the last 5 minutes of her rebuttal closing, that was someone who cares about this case. Not just someone going through the motion. That was a prosecutor who was an advocate. If anyone sees a press conference on like another channel or something, let me know. Should I keep it on this? No, this ain't gonna be it. Wendy, girl, they are coming for you, Wendy. They are coming for you. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here, by the way, if you're leaving. But I am staying to see if there's a press conference. Let's see. Where do you think I should go to see if there's a press conference? It's Jan's birthday? Happy birthday, Jan. Oh, what's that other Florida channel? WCTV? What's the other one?
skills and to high standards of delivery of an excellent practice. Tonight, we have a lot of people to be grateful for. I've often said my life is full of two words, trauma and gifts. Tonight, I'll talk about, I said the trauma inside. The loss of Danny Markel is a great loss for all of us. And the gifts are all the people who've supported us, our allies from FSU University, the Tallahassee community, and all of you in the media, of which we've had tremendous support. Social media, podcasters, print, and all other aspects of helping us produce and deliver this very important communication. So thank you. We are grateful.
Ruth, you mentioned the Markel Act in your comments, and I know so many people are wondering, will the Markel family be able to enjoy the protections of the Markel Act that is named for Dan?
Well, the Markel Act actually has, it's specific to, just to answer the question very specifically, it's part of having a civil or a criminal offense against the spouse of a person who has been deceased. We have had access because of the Markel Act. So as it was passed, it opened up. Wendy had invited us to the bar mitzvahs. We had a little bit of an opportunity to have communications and so forth, but they're highly choreographed. It's not a natural process. We're looking for when we can communicate via email, via phone. We have everything is done still through Wendy's devices, let's call it, and time frames. So we're looking for a more natural opportunity.
Ms. Markel, do you believe that everyone who participated in this crime has been held accountable?
I'll let other people in my family talk about that.
Okay.
Nah, that means
First of all, just one little side thing. We were originally invited to the first bar mitzvah, and then we were disinvited from it. So just to clarify. My comments. First of all, I'm very, very grateful to the jury. They were very attentive. I watched them carefully. They listened. They obviously analyzed and came to a just decision. We're grateful to the judge for his patience and his guidance.
just real quick. Is this cameraman's first fucking day? Sir, you're taking a video of this guy's cell phone camera person? Come on, get it together.
Everybody followed the law, etc. We're grateful to all of you guys here. I can't begin to tell you. I always, to me, journalists were never, they're into just to post stuff in the papers, TV, or whatever. But you guys have really, it's been 11 years. You've supported us, and because of you, this case never went cold. And I can't believe people stop me when I'm in Dillard's or I'm in the wine store or in a restaurant. My claim to fame, unfortunately, is I'm Dan's dad. But it's so heartwarming to see this community, the people, and because of you around the world, there aren't enough words to tell you how grateful we all are. This is, even though it's a joyful or unhappy decision that's come out, it's still very, very difficult. And we still don't have the full access to the boys that we'd love to have. They're very, very controlled, very short, and very far and few between. And it's, we just want anybody and everybody who had anything to do with Dan's death brought to justice. And until that day happens, I will not be fully happy individual.
And Phil, one of the, I think it's safe to say, one of the star witnesses in this trial was Rob Adelson. What was it like for you to watch him up there testifying for the government?
Rob Adelson and I have We actually haven't seen each other for a long time, but we do communicate via text, telephone, etc. He is an incredible individual. How this guy happened to come out of this family is beyond my understanding.
I think we respect his bravery and his courage in doing what he did, and we really, will be very honored to see him and connect with him, but in particular, we really respect his courage.
Phil or Shelley, to answer this, did this one feel good? You had the hitman who was prosecuted.
And again, right now, you are looking at kind
Shut
of a press
up!
gaggle
What are you
with the
doing?
Markel family.
Get
Phil,
your cameraman
Dan's
to lift
sister
weights
Shelley,
and
his
wear
mom Ruth
heels
Markel,
and
talking
shut up!
again about how
Shut
grateful
up!
they are that justice has been served today.
More of a tone of gratitude in
Shut
that
the
media
fuck up!
gaggle than
No
the
one cares
victim
what you're
impact statements we
saying!
heard moments ago inside the courtroom. They've made many
What are
trips
you
to Tallahassee
doing?
over the years because of these cases.
Hey, assholes!
And so they were expressing their support to the Tallahassee community and to anyone who stopped them, shopping or what have you, to express their support. We are waiting still for the prosecution to maybe speak as well. That is usually something they would do after this. And then you could hear the Markel family be asked, do you believe everyone has been brought to justice? They kind of skirted around that question a bit. The family has never been one traditionally in the media to point the finger.
What are you doing?
They've definitely
Shut
let
up!
prosecutors do that. Last time when Charlie Adelson was convicted in 2023, that question was asked of Georgia Kappelman, and she said, stay tuned. It was but a week later that Donna was arrested.
And again, Phil Markel saying to that question, we want anyone and everyone involved in Dan's death.
These fucking idiots. They finally have something that people want to watch and they don't put it on. Are you kidding me? Fucking dumb idiots. Oh, good. Oh my God.
And it was a theory the state laid out years ago, and jury has accepted that theory in each of these cases, finding each one of those folks convicted. This is a video of Mag Banawa testifying in this trial earlier last month, just a couple of weeks ago, last week rather, and her testimony key in Charlie's trial and key in this trial because it changed significantly.
Well, and I think too, some people may be going, why are you staying, with this coverage, that sort of thing. This has been 11 years.
Oh my God, what is happening right now? I cannot believe. What the fuck? How does no one have this?
Archives last year for the 10 years since the murder to watch how we had covered it, and it was remarkable to see how the case did go cold for a while. There was not an update in.
Here comes Jack. Jack's here.
Guys, we're happy to talk to y'all. We would like to talk privately with the family for a minute, and then George will answer questions. I know that's what you're going to want. If y'all want to come on.
Tallahassee Democrat doesn't have anything. I was at Tallahassee Democrat. Their webpage? Oh my God, you gotta be kidding me. Continue to the site. Who actually disables anything? Oh my God. Is this actually live anyway?
And again, she did testify against her mother in this case. She was given an immunity, limited immunity deal by the state, was not given that deal for the defense. And again, that was a very emotional day of testimony because they have not talked in several years.
And under oath, she once again said she had no idea that this murder for hire was in the works. She had no information that could help investigators and was just in the dark and had no information pointing her mother or her brother or anyone else to the murder of her ex-husband.
And again, if you're just joining us, just tuning in, the verdict for Donna Adelson in the murder of Dan Markel, that was reached
around 7:35-ish,
yes.
about almost an hour ago.
And that was after about 3 hours of deliberation by a jury. Donna Adelson was found guilty on all 3 charges, that of first-degree murder, conspiracy, and solicitation.
Just a dramatic moment in the courtroom. We do understand that prosecution is going to speak after they talk to family. Perhaps we have time to replay the verdict as it was read aloud. Do you think we have time for that?
No.
Talking to our folks in the back.
No, just
okay, let's go ahead and listen to what that moment was like.
They're going to go to the prosecutor.
I will publish the verdict. We, the jury, find as follows as to count 1 of the indictment, first-degree murder. The defendant is guilty of first-degree murder. Mrs. Adelson, control yourself. Count 2. We, the jury, find as follows.
Court TV is live.
And the gifts are all the people who've supported us, our allies from FSU University, the Tallahassee community, and all.
No, this is what they already showed. I think I'm going to stick with this. They're going to go.
And it is signed and dated by the foreperson. One moment. Members of the jury, the bailiff will escort you to the jury room.
And again, that was the verdict that was read a little after 7:30 today. Again, convicting Donna Adelson of all 3 charges for the murder of Dan Markel. As you can see, very emotional, shocked,
having
exhaling
a tantrum.
just a
She's
sigh
having a
of
tantrum.
just disbelief.
That's
to
what
the
she's
point
doing.
where Judge
She's
Everett
having a temper
actually
tantrum.
asked the jury to step out of the courtroom for a minute to speak to Donna Adelson and asked her really to get control of herself, and if she couldn't, he may have had to remove her for the rest of the proceedings.
Certainly a moment of which we haven't seen in this case before.
No.
There have been some emotional reactions to verdicts.
Yes.
Catherine McManawa started sobbing, as did her attorneys in 2022. Charlie Adelson simply put his head down in his lap for a moment or two after he learned his fate. But the 75-year-old South Florida grandmother learning that even if she had been convicted on just one of these 3 charges, it likely meant life, the rest of her life behind bars. But now that she's been convicted of first-degree murder, that carries a mandatory life sentence.
Well, in terms of sentencing, they're actually going to postpone
Correct.
one part of that because they just want to make sure that her defense team wants to make sure that she is in the right state of mind and in a better place mentally as she can be for what has happened.
As soon as we learn that official sentencing date, we will pass it along for Charlie. If I remember correctly, it was about a month later.
It was, yes.
30 days or so. But that's essentially a formality. And the quote-unquote meat of that would have been the victim impact statement in terms of public interest. And that's what we heard tonight from Ruth and Phil just moments after that verdict read aloud. And something we hadn't seen before in terms of in the format, and to see the 2 next to each other just feet away, Ruth Markel and Donna Adelson.
Well, and as you were saying, most of those impact statements had been done over Zoom because the Markels live in Canada.
Thank you, Kino.
And Dan was originally from Canada, and so they were not here for that. And so to see, we have not seen those impact statements in person. And again, it really did feel like the weight of the decade worth of cases really coming out in this, speaking really mother to mother on this, former family to former family of, Ruth Markel saying, For our family, there is no prospect of escape. There is a hole in our lives.
2 families shattered, as you mentioned earlier, Abby. And of course, one wonders how that deliberation went for 3 hours. They had listened to hours and hours of closing arguments. The defense said there was no direct evidence tying Donna to this murder for hire scheme. And the question becomes which pieces of the evidence that they heard over 8 days perhaps was, as close to a smoking gun as you can get. The prosecutors even admitted today there was no smoking gun in this case because Donna was smart enough to avoid that from happening, in Georgia Kappelman's words. Was it the wiretap phone calls? Was it the fact that she wrote 44 checks to Catherine McBanawa? It's interesting to wonder what perhaps swayed the jury.
Well, and absolutely. And take a look at this. We want to play some video for you now. This is actually the arrest video from Donna Adelson.
November 2023 on the jet bridge of a flight heading to Vietnam via Dubai. A seismic moment in this 11-year saga,
the longest
one that
walk in
happened
history.
Out of the blue to the public.
Yes.
We didn't know this was coming a week after her son Charlie was convicted, and this became an integral part of the testimony in this trial. The defense claiming that she had every right to leave. She was not. There was no warrant out for her arrest when she booked the tickets, and that it was a chance to clear her mind after her son had been locked away for life.
Well, absolutely. Former counsel even, testifying on her behalf, saying they had talked about her taking a vacation for this. The state saying
it is what it looks like.
It is what it looks like.
Yeah.
They said she was looking for countries that were non-extradition states or countries that even if they had come back, she didn't think that she was under an arrest warrant there, so she was going. But again, they did arrest her right there on the jet bridge in November of 2023.
And it's the consciousness of guilt was what they called it, evidence that potentially could influence the jury to think that maybe she was guilty was kind of the thinking there. So that was a big part of it. The testimony from McBanawa placing Donna Adelson at Charlie's home the night of the murder back in 2014, and a text message Donna sent to Charlie saying, "outside your house," and then McBanawa would arrive shortly after, and they would eventually get the money to McBanawa and the triggermen and the other killers. So that all, the state lays it out one after the other, describing them as train cars. It's fairly easy to see the case when you're potentially in the jury's setting.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see if, the jurors, they can decide whether they ever want to talk or speak publicly or not about this. But it would be very interesting to know what was that. Because I think in the closing statements, the Assistant State Attorney, Georgia Kappelman, talking about the wiretap phone calls after the bump had occurred, and Donna calling Charlie about that after it had happened, and Charlie asking, "What is this about?" And now.
Do not ask it. Don't ask it.
And think about this and ask you about this. So before we ask you the question, that's all.
Nobody's going to do that.
What's it like in this moment? What was it like to have this defendant be found guilty?
I think I just feel kind of honored to be able to deliver this win for the Markels. We've heard so much about a win for the Adelsons, a win for the Adelsons, and everything that was lost in those efforts. So it's just been really cool to be a part of this win.
During one of the pre-trials, you said these trials that have become my life. It's a lot of trials at this point. Talk about what happens when you're a prosecutor and you have to continue to follow cases like this one.
Well, I do have other cases. People don't know that. There are other cases. And I hear about, all of them, but obviously this has become sort of part of my DNA after investing so much blood, sweat, and tears into this case and getting justice. So yeah, it's been an epic battle.
Was this one tougher than Charlie's trial?
I don't know. I'm older, so I think it is. I think everyone's tougher than the last. Yeah, I don't know. More time passes and there's more stuff. There's more phones. There's more records. There's more emails. So it's a lot to organize. And it's a lot of little pieces to try to put together and try to create something cognizable that a jury can follow and get their head around.
In Georgia, opening statements right out of the gate, Jackie Fulford appropriated Professor Markel's nickname, calling him Danny. A lot of people were upset about that. Did that bother you?
Not as much as it bothered some other folks. I understood what she was trying to do. It was not the classiest move, and I think she kind of realized that and seemed to correct that over the course of the trial. But yeah, probably not a great move.
And what about the amount of deliberations? Is roughly the same as Charlie, maybe a few minutes more, but not much. That surprised you because some people were predicting a longer deliberation?
A little bit. I actually lost. I thought it would be slightly shorter, but I was being pretty ambitious. But yeah, it wouldn't have surprised me if it had been more difficult for them because it was a large puzzle that kind of had to be put together. But I guess they got what they needed and they knew what they had to do.
Will this be the last prosecution?
You are asking me
Why
are you that guy?
Were you surprised by the defense strategy of throwing Wendy and Charlie under the bus? And was the adoptive admissions ruling something that you pre-planned or something that you all came up with at the last moment?
We had a few incarnations of how to deal with the fact that she had adopted Charlie's really ridiculous story previously, and we didn't want her to be able to distance herself from that and create a new, better defense, which she did seem to kind of try to be doing. So we did want to try to shove that on her and then, try to explain that to the jury. Okay, here's this whole other defense that she already adopted, and it's complicated, and it has all its pushback that goes with it. So it did feel like a difficult minefield to wade through to be able to explain all that to the jury, but we wanted to make sure they understood that, hey, she's already committed to this defense that's a loser, and now she's trying to switch it up and go to this whole other place, and you got to pick a lane and can't be both. So I think that's kind of what we were trying to do, so hopefully we were successful.
It sounded like the new investigation developed a lot of crazy evidence, including y'all were planning to use some phone calls that you were not able to use at the trial. Is the sealing of this evidence going to be unsealed once now that Donna has been convicted, or do you know?
I don't know the answer to that. Yeah, I don't know.
And you cannot still comment, I guess, about
I think
the
not,
details.
since it's sealed, right? Yeah,
All right,
it's,
no
it's less
comment
sexy
about-
than you imagine it to be, but I don't think I should comment on it since
Okay.
it's sealed by the court.
How did you
this
feel
time.
when you found out that Donna was not going to be testifying? Something tells me you were probably salivating at the idea of
I don't know about
testifying for over the last 11
salivating.
years.
Yeah, it's not like I was gonna wow you guys with some amazing new stuff or anything, but I did put tons of preparation into that, so I was a little bit sad when I took my binder that had 110 tabs and packed it away. So yeah, I was a little surprised. She seems like somebody that would want to tell her story, but it gets trickier and trickier when all these stories are out there, and she would have had to navigate a lot of stuff to get up there. So I do understand why she made the decision she did, and I think it was a smart one, but I was kind of expecting her to testify.
What was the new evidence that you thought in this trial might have made a difference that what you came across that you introduced?
I think the fleeing to Vietnam didn't hurt, especially since she denied it. She could have just said, yeah, I went to Vietnam. I didn't want to get arrested. But she didn't do that. She oversold, so that was helpful.
The number and the planners.
Yes.
Can you talk about that? How did you guys find that? Was it an aha moment?
Yeah, kind of dumb luck. That thing is so dense, and there's a bunch of them. So we've just been sort of perusing them, and somebody just stumbled upon it and had an aha moment.
What about Rob Adelson's testimony? How key was that?
I think it was important, didn't you? I thought he was so genuine, and what a guy to be able to do that. What a terrible situation for him to be put in, and to be able to rise above that and do the right thing. It's really impressive.
Did you all wait for this trial to put him on? Why did he not testify previously?
I just didn't want to do it to him unless I felt like it was absolutely necessary, and I really felt like we needed him in this one.
Georgia, does Wendy have reason to be worried tonight?
You said that word. That's a bad word.
A bad word. Let me
No,
ask you another
don't
question.
be.
Worry's a bad word.
Well,
Worry?
last time.
Should we say stay tuned? Do we need to stay tuned?
Stay tuned.
You can stay tuned.
Yeah.
One other question for me. You're father played football. I understand. It was my first Knowles game, and I take all the credit for
Oh,
the Bama
great
win.
one.
Yeah.
Lucky you.
I take all the credit
Go
for
Knowles.
that. And I found out maybe through the grapevine that someone else in your family.
All right, that is Prosecutor Georgia Kappelman answering some questions from the media.
Came out to cheers.
To cheers. Unclear who was cheering.
Yes, it was. Yes, we did. We could not see.
But clearly,
I mean, I could tell you everyone that was cheering. Joel, mentor lawyer, Patty, like these. All right, they're not going to show anymore. I mean, I'll check if Court TV has it, but she's not going to answer. She is not going to come out and say we're going for Wendy. But guess what? They are going for Wendy. I don't care what anyone says. I do not give a shit. Every trial
for the team.
Every trial has introduced new evidence against the next person. It's like it's dominoes. It was Katie and Sigfrido. It was like, wait, this seems like a trial for Charlie. And then Charlie's trial was like, wait, this seems like a trial for Donna. And Donna's trial, this was a trial for Wendy. They are coming for Wendy. You just watch. They're not giving. You think they're gonna do everything they did and not come for Wendy? You think they're just gonna not even take a chance for Wendy? They're coming for Wendy.
We did let you take a moment and think about this and ask you about this. So before we ask you the question that's on a lot of people's mind, what's
Powerful testimony here coming.
I mean, I just feel awful for the Markels. I'm glad this is another step to getting justice, but frankly, as far as I'm concerned, justice isn't until Wendy and Harvey are arrested. All of them. That will be, I mean, those two should be arrested too, as far as I'm concerned. So I don't think there's going to be anything else because Georgia ain't going to Georgia's not going to say anything. She's not going to.
Nobody in his family really seemed that interested.
She's not going to come out and say, we're going for Wendy.
You know, all of them, but obviously this has become sort of a part of my DNA after investing so much blood, sweat, and tears into this case and getting justice. So yeah, it's been an epic battle.
Was this one tougher than Charlie's trial?
I don't know. I mean, I'm older, so I think it is. I think everyone is tougher than the last. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, more time passes and there's more stuff. There's more phones. There's more records. There's more emails. So it's a lot to organize, and it's a lot of little pieces to try to put together and try to create something cognizable that a jury can follow and get their head around.
In Georgia, opening statements right out of the gate, Jackie Fulford.
Well, I just have to thank you all for being
he,
here.
Of course, has been in the courtroom.
Honestly, the coverage of this case is what is most of my audience is the coverage of this case. So I appreciate you all being here. I appreciate you all sticking with me, even though I wasn't streaming for a while. You better damn be sure I'm gonna keep my foot on the neck of Wendy. Any shit comes up, I'm covering it. Her arrest comes up, I'm covering it. Her trial comes up, I'm covering it. I appreciate you guys all being here and supporting me as I have covered this. And like I said, justice isn't done until Wendy goes down. And Georgia, she did it again. She did it again. Georgia did it again. She's the queen. Sanford, all the people that worked on this case over 11 years, they all did it. Thank you guys so much. Justice. Let's get justice for Dan Markel. One more step towards getting justice for Dan Markel. And thank you all for the super chat. Sorry if I missed you. I didn't pause it because I was watching everything, but I appreciate all the super chats, and I'll get to the Venmos and stuff. Persephone Applewood, Holly Berry, The Good Natalie, Debbie, Sherry D, Laura, Calico, Joanne gave out a membership, Graciela, welcome to Bose, Jennifer J, 25, DJ Miller, Cat Grow, Try to Find a Cure. Thank you guys all so much. I appreciate everyone so much. And have a good night, everybody. Thanks for being here. I appreciate you.